real estate and being a teacher kind of in some way goes hand in hand, because at one point you're helping little kids and educating them on whether it be finances, whether it be things that they don't teach about in school, which is taxes, real estate, buying the building first before you buy anything else. All those things that a lot of people may not know about is just simply being transferred to giving that information and educating adults. And that's all we're really doing on a daily basis, whether it be younger people or adults that just don't really know the process. Our job is to really educate people about the process and, you know, just give them the background that they were never taught when we were younger. And that's something that, you know, I really want everyone to understand, is that our job is simply to educate, and that is free. The consultations are free. We're going to give you all the stuff that we've learned, all the experiences that we've seen, and everything is completely free. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Justin Rodriguez, your favorite lender here in Neighborhood Loans, and we're back with another episode of Cafecito Talks. Super excited to announce our guests. We've been working with each other for the last couple of years now, and we have done nothing but success over the last couple of years. We've been seeing her grow, so I appreciate every ounce of business that you do treat us with, and I really want to dive into just who you are, give a little background, your journey on your just overall real estate, so that way everyone can see who you are. So if you want to introduce yourself for the crowd.
Yes, so I'm Toyya Pruitt. I'm with eXp Realty right now, but I've been really doing real estate since I was 21. I purchased my first home then, so I know the importance of home buying. And then once I got to probably 25, I started buying commercial and buying buildings so that I could rent them out. So I started being a landlord. So I've been a landlord, done it all. Now my thing is fix and flips. I love fixing flips. I'm on the investment side. But yeah, so that's basically my journey. Been a long time, but I done dibble and dabble in every little part of it. So yeah.
Right, and that's why I love to kind of talk about the power of social media, because, you know, I think we connected through social media. And, and again, I appreciate you for all the business that we've done thus far. And it's beautiful to see that you have built a portfolio of real estate just, you know, simply from taking a jump, right? 21 years old, you buy the building, you buy the single family, whatever you're buying, it's like it all starts from simply jumping, just doing it. And, you know, you get a lot of skepticism. Like, you get into the industry, right?
Yeah.
First off, being a realtor, you're like, oh shit, it's commission. Are you going to be able to do it? Or you buy the building. Oh, well, what if someone doesn't pay rent? What if someone this? There's a lot of negativity that people bring forth when you tell them what you kind of want to do. So give me the background. Like, were you always a realtor? Were you working another job prior to?
So at 21, both my grandmothers were homeowners, and then one from my mother's side, she owned property. So I saw how well she was off, like how well off she was. She was a registered nurse as well, but the money that she was able to go and get from her tenants just like blew my mind. So once I got myself set up, I went to the Army. When I came back, I bought my first home. So that's how I did it at 21.
Oh, so you're in the Army?
Yeah, I did 8 years in the Army, yeah. So then I went off to college, became a school teacher. So I taught for CPS, Chicago Public Schools, for 18 years. I didn't stop until COVID.
Okay.
That Zoom calling, you know, like teaching the kids that way, that was a little, I'm like, I have to feed off people's energy. So I say, you know what, I'm going to take real estate full time. So this actually is my 5th year as being a realtor.
Wow.
But like I said, I know all aspects of the game because I've dibbled and dabbled in all of them. Yeah.
Okay. So give me a little background. I didn't know you were in the Army for 8 years.
Yes, I was a field medic. I was a paramedic. When I first, I scored high. So when they told me I could pick my job, I wanted some in medicine because I thought I was going to end up being Dr. Proctor.
Right.
You know, that was my maiden name. So I was like, yeah, that rhymed. I'm going to medicine. And then once I got there, I was like, teaching going to be easy. This ain't for me. So, I switched my major, ended up going into education. While I was in that, though, I did go to Concordia, got my type 75, so that would allow me to be an assistant principal or principal, but I never stepped into those shoes. I just stayed in the classroom because I loved helping the kids. And I felt like I could relate. You know, we're from the same community, so yeah.
Well, that's awesome. A couple things, right? Like first off, how did the Army kind of shape who you are today over the 8-year period that you were there?
Yes.
And did you take advantage of the VA loans?
All of that. So VA loans and the free college tuition. I never had a student loan, and I have 2 master degrees.
Yep.
So college, military is the way to go. I have one of my kids who was active duty. So so college is the way to go. But yeah, so I took advantage of the VA loan, did the college, all of that. So anything the military offers, I tell people to take advantage of. And now with your program, I want you to talk about that, because now your VA loan, they could get the renovations as well. Yeah. So my son is coming to you because I was like, that is the best I've ever seen out here, you know. And so with the real estate thing, I just really say home ownership is the way you could build generational wealth. It gives you such a sense of pride in, because you're owning something, like you have control over. You don't have to worry about if a landlord is about to increase your rent, you know, or if they finna sell the building and you got to pack your kids up and leave. So I have heard so many. To me, they're like horror stories. So I tell people, if you can, set yourself up to own. You know, get that 600 credit score, 2 years on the job, you know, keep your debt low, and we're going to get you in a home. Hey, that's what me and you do.
There you go.
All day.
That's the only way to do it.
It's the only way to do it.
That's why I tell people, you know, the main thing for you in your case, right, when you're in the home buying process, or first off, when you're renting, right, you're kind of building up to become a homeowner. I always tell people the hard part, like you said, you hear horror stories. You hear people where they got mold in their apartment. These landlords don't want to fix things. And it's very difficult to go through that. And then for you to be able to not kind of take the step of homeownership because you don't know the right professionals or you don't know the people in the industry is tough. That's why it's important. I try to reach as many people as I possibly can, because it's like the hardest part about real estate is simply having the first meeting. It really is. That's the hardest part about it, because even
making those connections.
If you have a 550 credit score, you have a 750 credit score, taking the first step and knowing that you have that is the hardest part, because you may be like, all right, I got a 750 credit score, but maybe I don't make enough money, or maybe I don't have this, maybe I don't have enough saved. People don't realize that there are programs out there to be able to assist them to get them into homes. And I always tell people the home buying journey is never a no. It's a yes for the future. You figure out how we're going to be able to get it done, whether it be right now. Maybe you need 6 months, or maybe you're ready right now.
Delayed, not denied, baby. You know what I'm saying? So they got to know, like, contact the professionals, myself, you, and we can get you there. Even if you're a little short on the credit, we have credit building teams, you know, we can send you to the place. Once you get in the home, I'm scared, I don't know any contractors, plumbers, electricians. Oh, we got that. My thing is, when I have a client, I don't just get them to the closing table. My phone number does not change. They can call me at any time, and I'm still there to help them even after they have done took their pictures and shook the keys, you know, because I'm there for the long haul. And I'm here, by me having an educational background, I just feel like now I'm just able to do it with adults. So I done went from helping teach the youth for all those many years to now I'm able to help adults. And it really makes me feel good. I feel like I must be that kind of servant. Like, I'm here to educate people, and I don't know, I love it.
I know it's really cool to say that you brought that up, because I was actually going to bring it up. My mom worked for CPS for many years, many years as well. And so you got that motherly instinct, right? And that's one thing that I wanted to touch base on, because I think it's weird, but real estate and being a teacher kind of in some way goes hand in hand, because at one point you're helping little kids and educating them on whether it be finances, whether it be things that they don't teach about in school, which is taxes, real estate, buying the building first before you buy anything else. All those things that a lot of people may not know about is just simply being transferred to giving that information and educating adults. And that's all we're really doing on a daily basis, whether it be younger people or adults that just don't really know the process. Our job is to really educate people about the process and, you know, just give them the background that they were never taught when we were younger. And that's something that, you know, I really want everyone to understand, is that our job is simply to educate, and that is free. The consultations are free. We're going to give you all the stuff that we've learned, all the experiences that we've seen, and everything is completely free. And it's important for people to understand your background, who you are, because they can see experience is the number one way to success. If you got the more experience
the passion I have for
it. And if you, the more experience and passion that you have for the career that you have, the more successful people are going to be able to be. and learn through your experiences. So I want you to really talk about how you were able to go ahead and go to the Army, utilize your VA loan, and what you did to be able to purchase multiple pieces of real estate, and now being able to fix and flip property. So how'd that journey kind of play out?
So once you use the VA loan, you can actually use it again. Yeah. Like, it's not just a one-time thing. Right. And that's what some people have been waiting on. Like, I'm in my 40s, and my friends be like, oh, no, I only can use it one time, so I'm going to wait. I'm like, no, you're missing the whole thing. Yeah. No, you get there, you get that property. And especially for the younger people, like my son is 25. I say, hey, buy the building first. Yeah. You live in one unit, rent out the others. Hopefully it can pay for itself. You could be saving money. After your year, let's go. Let's look for something else, you know, and let's keep doing that a few times. Get you a few doors under your belt. And then once you get your home, all those rental incomes is going to pay for your living. Right. And so that's what I try to teach the younger people and the older people, is the fact that when you're renting, you're just giving somebody else their lifestyle. Right. That money is gone. And sometimes I'll say, what was your monthly rent? They'll tell me. I say, now, multiply that by 12. Then how many years you done been renting? Right. You done paid over $200,000, $300,000 in rents. Right. That's a house. Right. We're going to get you from that side. We're going to get you on over to this side, because this is the side where we got freedom. Right. We want to, I try to teach financial freedom. Right. You should be able to have your own free time. And that's another thing. With me leaving the classroom, I finally have time freedom. That was the one thing I've always been missing. Right. Because I've always had kids myself. So after I left teaching, I'm at the football practices, cheerleading, and all this and that. Yeah. And I love it. I love being a mom. But the thing was, I didn't have no time for Toya. Right, so it's like, now with real estate, I can carve me out a little time. When I'm not teaching a community, I do be hosting, the home buyers events and stuff. To try to pour into them, free of charge. Nothing I do is a charge, you know. Right. I want to educate them. I want to get them to own it. And so then after I had the buildings where I had the rental incomes, I'm like, okay, fix it flips. I seen a few people doing it, and I was like, how? And when I started talking to them, they didn't gatekeep. They said, okay, this is what you do. You get this lender, this, and that. And I actually started out a while ago when I had to use a hard money loan. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Terrible, right?
Terrible. It's the interest only for those that don't know. Yeah. But it was good because I did get my feet wet. Yeah. After that, y'all came out, I started hitting the 203Ks, and those were just the best, when it came to renovations and stuff. So, yeah, depending on what I wanted to do, whether I was going to hold the property or whether I was just fixing and flipping, it would be depend on what kind of loan I got.
No, 100%. And that's one of the main things, that exactly what you're saying. And I want everybody to understand that everything that she's doing is really simple. She meets as many people as she possibly can. She learns from their experiences. Yes. And she applies it, right? And a lot of people, when they meet people, they instantly kind of have this perception of not actually applying the things that people are telling them. Because it's scary, right? Like, you're doing a fix and flip. It's really scary to apply the things that people are telling you, because there's a lot of risk behind it. Yes. But if they're telling you from their experience that these things are working, it doesn't hurt to try and risk it, right? But it's all within finding the right people to connect with. Because if you find the right people in any industry that you're in, and they give you the plan of attack, and you follow it exactly the way they did, because let's say this person said they did 10 flips, and 9 out of 10 are successful. That's 90%. Okay. 90% chance that is hit.
Good numbers.
So why not follow their path on what they're doing and be like, okay, what was that one time you messed up? How can I avoid that? What are the things that you did? Oh, you did this? Okay, let me avoid that. Let me try and figure out the 9 times that you did it the right way. Right. Right. And that's the important thing I want people to understand. Networking is the most important tool that anybody can have. Your network is your net worth, right? The more people that you have, the better that you're going to be overall in the long run. You know?
So that is why I try to get in front of as many people as possible. Yeah. And that's simply because the more exposure I have, the more people get to know, like, hey, she's really trustworthy. I can really trust her. She's knowledgeable, professional. She's going to teach me. And that's the thing. If they trust you, they're willing to take that risk. Right. But with high risk come high reward, and that's like anything, whether it's the housing, stocks, anything. Take the high risk when you're younger. Right. If you could start off in your 20s or something, go on. Because if you bump your head, you still got time to learn from it and adjust, So, yeah, I definitely say if you want to become an investor or get you some buildings with where you can get some tenants, start now.
100%.
Contact us. We got every kind of loan you want. We got FHA, VA, conventional. All the interest rates are going down.
Yeah.
The cost it takes to start is cheaper. So you know, Justin is the guy to get you that loan. I'm the girl to get you into that house or that property. So yes.
And I'll give everybody a rundown, right? Like this is the plan of attack that I did, and I'm sure it's exactly what you did. Mm-hmm. Typically speaking, the way that I like to tell people, in order for you to be try to be as financially free as you possibly can be in your 20s, is exactly what she's talking about, which is buying a multi-unit building first. The rule of thumbs: you buy a 2-unit, it'll cover half your mortgage. You buy a 3-unit, it'll hopefully cover all your mortgage. You buy a 4-unit, you're going to be generating some sort of passive income while you're living in the property, right? The plan is to start there, and then in the future, if you want to try to potentially buy another building, we could try doing that plan of attack, or you want to move into your own condo, your own single family, your own townhouse. You have the ability to do it and say, hey, I'm going to rent this property out, but I want to buy my own property for myself. Now you got 2 pieces of real estate within a 5-year plan, and then 30 years, let's say you're 20 years old, 30 years later, you're 50, anywhere from 50 to 55, you got 2 pieces of real estate that are paid in full, and you're going to be a millionaire simply by owning 2 pieces of real estate. You don't have to do anything else, just buying 2 pieces of real estate. And that's the plan of attack that mentally I was like, okay, you do the math, that's where you're going to be at, and you could potentially do that.
Yes.
I know other people who bought 2 buildings at the same time, or, you know, you could kind of scale in that way, right? And in your case, like, what did you do? Did you buy a building? Did you buy multiple buildings? What was your plan?
So mine was, at first, at 21, I purchased a home.
Okay.
But once I got the knowledge that I should have done buildings, then I started buying in the Lawndale area. Yeah. And they were all 3 units, 3 units with basements with high ceilings. So that's a 4-unit, you know? So, right. Yeah. So it's sort of like once you learn, once you educate yourself, even though my grandparents had properties, they didn't know how to, I guess, properly explain it to us how they did it, you know? But once I learned, I've been telling everybody in my family, everyone around me, we're owning. You know, it's like, no, that's the only way we're going to do it. There has to be renters out there for us now, you know. Right. But for those that are ready, I'm ready to get them the knowledge, because that is the way to live. Like you said, I have some of my clients who, they couldn't believe it. One of them texted me, she said, girl, they paying my mortgage. I said, I know. She took one of the units. It had 2 other to rent out. And and I mean, and that's just simple. And can you imagine how much your life can change just right then when you don't have that $1,500 or the $2,000 coming out your pocket?
Right.
Maybe you could save for your kids' college. Maybe you could save for an investment property.
Right.
Maybe you could upgrade that car that was doing clunk, clunk, boom, boom, going down the street, you know? So there is so many endless possibilities once we level it out. You write it down. I tell people, write your stuff down. You know what your goal is, and give yourself a date. Like, give yourself a deadline. You have to have a timeline in order to be successful. You can't just wake up and say, oh yeah, I want to own, but you're not checking your credit score. You don't know what's on there. Your debt to income ratio could be a little off. And that's mainly the biggest thing that can get us denied from a loan is the debt to income.
Right.
Do not go buy the new luxury truck, SUV, or car before you buy the home. That is like key. Like, I don't know how many times I could say that.
Right.
You going to pick up a $1,100 a month vehicle note, and now we can't get you a loan. So, so I will tell people always, buy the property first.
You know, it's funny what you just said right there. The power of manifesting it. You know, and the reason why I say that is when I first initially got in this industry, there was a couple of things. I first got in the industry, right, and I wanted to buy a condo. That was the first thing. I was like, man, I want to buy a condo. Mm-hmm. As soon as I found a condo, I was like, okay, rates were at that time were 2.5%, 3%, super, super low. I was like, I think I'm going to pull the trigger on this condo. It was probably $150,000, $200,000 condo. And I remember vividly, I'm like, I think I'm going to put an offer on it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do it. My mentor, my uncle, he's going to be the stupidest shit you ever done in your life. And I'm like, why? I'm buying real estate. I'm young, you know, hopefully long term, we'll, you know, go up in value. Where he's like, buy the building first.
Yes.
And I'm going to leave it at that. 30 years from now, 20 years from now, 15 years, you're going to thank me for having this conversation. I'm like, okay. Fast forward. I took his advice. I'm like, all right, now I'm going to start looking for buildings. And the one thing that I did is exactly that. Wrote it down. Boom. When do I want it? Mm-hmm. All right. This was 2021. All right. By 2022, I'm going to have a building. August of 2022, I got a building.
See?
Right. Wrote it down. Next. Okay. What do I want next? Right. In my head, okay, I want a single family house. Wrote it down. How much income do I want? Wrote it down. Did everything. Wrote everything down. Every weekend, every Saturday, me and my family, we would go to Elmhurst. I love buying. That's my dream. That's at one point in time I want to buy a house in Elmhurst. But we would walk through Elmhurst every single weekend.
That is motivation.
We would walk through every single week. We walked there. And I will never forget, there was a country song that my girl really likes. We listen to it all the time. And now every time that song plays, because now we bought a single family house, right? We checked off the single family house, checked off the income. But that song, every time I plays it, it replays in my head the moments that we were walking in there trying to manifest the house, manifest the building, manifest your job. And you have to speak about it. You have to write it down. If you don't have a set goal or plan, how do you expect to get to the destination? You have to know what the journey looks like in order for you to get to the place where you want to be, right?
Definitely.
And that whole story for me, right, I always tell people the whole entire journey. Because in my head, I knew that I was going to achieve these things. I just didn't know how much time it was going to take. I set a planned time. I didn't know if I was going to hit in that planned time. But my goal was to achieve it. And I manifested. I prayed about it. I walked about it. I did everything I possibly could to achieve it. Yes. And it became a reality. And that's why I tell people it's not hard to get where you need to be. It's about finding the right people, having the right network, surrounding yourself with positivity, protecting your dreams and goals. There might be some times where people might, kind of give you that look like, oh, you want to do that quick? It's going to be that easy? Why are you going to do that? It's so much risky. You protect your goals. It's almost something you put yourself
low key haters.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that is why I tell my own kids, when you are trying to achieve something, do not tell your friends. Sometimes it's some people in your family you can't even tell because instead of them praying for you, they could pray on you. It's two different kinds of pray, So you have to be with people that want to see you excel, want to see you progress in life. Because there are a lot of people around us, but there are a small few that really want to see you really make it, Crabs in a barrel sometimes, hey, they might not push you.
Right.
I know we're not that type, but there are those people. So you do have to sometimes, like you said, protect your stuff, protect your thoughts, protect your goals. And then you just show them, hey, this is what I did. And if they want to learn, then we teach them. Right. We ain't got to broadcast, what you say, I'm walking through Elmhurst. You don't got to be on live saying this is my dream. This is my dream. I'm going to get there. But you got that. I've seen so much of your stuff. I love your family is beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my God. Y'all are just the cutest. And that is the way it's supposed to be, though. And I love the fact that you're so young, but yet you are determined.
Right.
And that's what you said. Like when you write your stuff down, it's because you are determined and you don't know when you're going to get to that goal. But when you looking at it all the time and you making adjustments and you planning, put forth the preparation. Right. Preparation and planning will get you there.
Right. Yeah. 100%. There's another thing that, within our specific industry, right, I always have, every single year we have a team dinner. Right, I got my team. I want to show appreciation to those who I wouldn't be where I'm at without my team. I tell people that all the time. My team is everything to me, and that's why we always have an annual dinner. I want to show the appreciation, give it back to them, and have a good night, right? We have a great time. Now, last year we did a New Year's. We did in the beginning January, and prior to the dinner, I wrote a business plan. Same thing. I always write down what I want to do. Write the business plan, give it to them. It was about a month ago. I re-looked at the business plan. Okay, we surpassed the goals that we put on the business plan. Wow. The reason why I'm saying this is because, again, if you don't write it down, how do you know what you want to achieve or what you're going to accomplish? And then when you achieve, you can be like, wait, what was the thing I wanted to do? What did I want to do? And it's harder for you to kind of recognize it, right?
Right.
And always celebrate it with those who need to be celebrated with. If you got the right team members, you got the right family members, it's okay.
They made a phone call for you. They put a stamp on the mail, the envelope for you. However small it was, it helped you to pull them up. The whole team has to move together.
100%. There's no millionaires doing it by yourself.
No, not at all. You have to trust somebody.
Yeah.
Trust is very key, and I tell people that all the time. You have to get people around you that you can trust, they can trust you, and you got different strengths.
Right.
You don't want everybody good in one thing, because you're going to need to piggyback off each other. You're going to need some people that think a little outside the box, because maybe you might be missing something. The plan might need that creative one to throw that 2 cents in,
Right.
So, so we need all kind of thinkers around us. We need all kind of people that have networks, different networks, but then we could collaborate together and 100%. Make it so much massive, And that's what we got to do. That's the only way we can, help each other.
I want to dive deeper into, I know that you have a lot of experience in the industry. Obviously, over the last 5 years, you help a lot of home buyers. And over just the course, you have a lot of history with real estate overall. you got a first-time homebuyer come to you, right? Regardless of whatever their credit score, income, all those things. What is the first piece of advice that you would give to a first-time homebuyer that is looking to jump into the home buying process?
So definitely watch your credit.
Right.
Because usually we need at least a 600 credit score. Right. I know sometimes they go 580.
Right.
For grants. Everybody, ooh, what's the first-time homebuyer grant? And don't know that they need a 640 to even get those.
Right.
So, so I definitely tell them the credit. Also tell them the debt. Right. Don't go co-signing for anyone. Don't go opening up no new credit cards just because they told you finna say 30% off at the register. None of that. All of those little enticing things. And this is a key, and I do this myself sometime when I have a new goal. All the text message and emails that you get for the sales, Fashion Nova, Temu, any of those, cut them off. Delete them for that moment. Pause them. Stop the texting, because those things that's marketing for them. They're going to generate those every day, going to tell you to sell every day, and you'll be spending money that you don't need to spend when you should really be saving.
Right.
Yes, we do be having grants and we do have ways to help them, but we need them to start with a savings themselves, especially if you're going to get into the multi-unit properties as your first one. You have to have some money saved.
Right.
So it'll definitely be the credit. It'll definitely be watch your debt to income ratio and save some money.
Right. And what would you advice would you give for those first time landlords, the people that want to get into the building? What advice would you give them?
Try to take some of those classes. I've seen some classes out that can help teach them what all it takes to be a landlord. Like, you want to know the laws. Like, say if you got the heat included in your tenant stuff or whatever, because some of the older buildings might just got the one thing. You need to know what the temperature got to be in the daytime, what it got to be at night. It's like certain things that they'll need to know. So I would definitely say educate yourself. If you have any questions, of course, you can ask me. Maybe you got a family member that owns several properties. But I would definitely say don't just jump in it and know the first of the month you want your rent.
Right.
There's different things. There's a timeline. If you got to give eviction, there's a timeline if something happens in the units, to repair it. You can't tell them, oh, hold off until my next check come in 2 weeks. No, if they got a busted pipe, you got to have their reserves put up. And so that's the thing about savings. If you're going to jump off into that and own it, where you got other families that are under your in your property, you have to be able to accommodate if anything happens in those units.
Right. No, 100%. And first off, I didn't know you said you got 2 masters? Mm-hmm. See, education is key. You never stop learning, huh?
Yeah. So I did those younger though. Yeah. So right from college, I just never stopped. So after my bachelor's, I got my CPS job in 2003, but I kept going and I knocked master out after master out.
Yeah. Right. And that's
so I got
awesome.
one in inner city studies and one in educational leadership.
That's awesome because that's important for people to see, because it's like, you never stop learning. You never stop reading books. Never stop trying to educate yourself.
I'm a low key nerd. I love reading, and I'm from the West Side, so I'm from the inner city myself. So
we're in the West Side.
Yeah. Oh, Chicago Avenue in Laramie.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, I also wanted to touch base. Right. There's a lot of changes happening in real estate.
Oh my God.
A lot of different things that happen. From my experience, though, I don't think it has affected as much as what people have made it out to be when the biggest change in the world. But I want to hear your perspective from the last couple of months. How have it affected you with the NAR settlement, all the things that are happening in the real estate market? Have you seen any major changes in the industry?
Well, by me being the realtor, mine is dealing with the buyers, basically.
Yeah, a lot of buyers.
So with the buyers, I have to, before I take them out to even see a home, so if it's somebody I already know, I could give them the heads up and talk to them about the NAR settlement and say, hey, I need you to sign this before I can go show homes. But you imagine if you got a referral to me and you call me and say, hey, Toya, I got my pre-approval. I'm about to send it over. When can we go out? And I stop and say, oh, but I need you to sign this, and you'll pay me this amount of commission if the seller doesn't pay. Can you imagine? It sort of throws the vibe a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's why I try to, on social media, I try to say it as often as possible. Like, hey, you'll have to sign buyer's agents agreements and things like that. So people can just get used to hearing it and knowing that's our only way of really taking you out now.
Right.
Because the sellers used to pay both commissions.
Right.
So now the seller can say, I'm not paying anything. They can say, I'm only paying 1%. And so then the buyer has to know that, they're going to be held responsible for the other, if you sign 2.5 usually, or 2% or 3%, that they'll be responsible for the difference, so that's a little conversation that has to be had, you 100%. Know. Yeah. So,
and that's the main thing. I want everybody in the home buying process to feel comfortable. And I always tell people your payment has to make you feel comfortable, and the amount that you have to bring to the closing table to make you comfortable. Mm-hmm. So you have to bring the amount that you want to bring to the closing table, and you have to feel comfortable with your payment. So in your case, right, when we're going into the home buying process, I team up with Toya. We make sure that everything lines up together so that way you feel comfortable with your payment, how much you have to bring. Mm-hmm. So that's why we have things available for people. You got grants $6,000, $7,500, $10,000. So if it comes to the case where in the settlement where the sellers are not willing to pay for their commission, that's why we can negotiate credits. We can also utilize the grants and pair the two things so that they don't have to bring much money out of pocket. That's our overall goal. And people don't know this. You can actually use those assistance programs to buy a building. So that's a whole nother game changer in VA. 0% down with the assistance. You buy a building, you don't even need to bring Vertrain anything to the closing table if you're using these things. So if obviously you were in the Army for 8 years, when you're talking to a veteran specifically, what's the conversation that you have with first-time home buyers? Because I know there's probably a lot of like things that people don't know who are actually either active duty or are no longer active duty. What is the first thing that you tell them about the home buying process? Because I know there's a lot of misconceptions out there, especially with the VA loan.
Yeah, so with the veterans, I tell them, first of all, I started off with, you got the best type of loan ever. Like, literally, like, with a VA loan, each loan has a different percentage that the buyer is supposed to pay. Right. And, of course, we could have the sellers pay as sellers concession, stuff like that. So if it was FHA, we can ask for up to 6%, and conventional 3%, and VA up to 4%. But with VA, you can get creative. Right. You can also do sellers concessions and sellers credits, and people don't know that. So I'm actually doing a deal right now where we are negotiating for the veteran to get all of their closing costs paid. And the other veterans that I've closed, some of them got small checks back. Like once we get all the credits for them and all the concessions, they walk away with a check. Yeah. So, like, that's the way I try to pump the veterans up. Like, come on now, use it, because we definitely could get you in your home or your building that you want, and you need little to no money. Of course, have your money saved, but once we work it out, once we be creative, you could walk in with no money down usually.
No, 100%. And people don't understand no mortgage. Like, it's a really good, in any property type, 0% down. Yes. It's an amazing programs for veterans. So if you're out there and you are a veteran, something that you want to take advantage of, 100%. Toya, you got her number is gonna be there. But also another thing I want to kind of jump into is understanding your background, what your goal is. What I know you've been in real estate over the last 5 years. What do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Do you see yourself continuing to be a realtor? Do you want to, obviously expand your portfolio? What's your overall goal? Do you want to be a top producer? What is?
Oh, so it's definitely to be a top producer.
There you go.
Stop it. Yes, that is my goal. I'm even I've been sitting down with a couple of other brokerages, to be honest. Because I'm like, hey, I'm loving EXP, but, it's some other ones that really seem to have the quality and the luxury that I'm aiming for. Right. So I do want to get over into luxury listings. Okay. And since the NAR settlement, it has really pushed me to want to have more sellers. Right. I love my buyers, and I will always be there for my buyers. Yeah. But the seller side, it's just going to be more lucrative. It would actually get me to where I need to be in life, you know. Yeah, so I really want to expand that way. I've also even thought about getting my managing broker's license and opening up my own small one at some point. Yeah. But for right now, I'm cruising and looking for the right move. Make my next move my best move.
There you go. Do you have a specific number of buyers that you want to assist, buyers and sellers that you want to assist in a year?
I want 50.
50? Nice.
I think 50 would be great. Yeah. I've been climbing every year. I've been climbing. I'm really excited. I'm with EXP, and so I capped out 2 deals ago. So capping out means I get 100% of my commissions. Yeah. So that's like amazing. So I've been achieving my goals. And like I say, I write them down and to cap, finally, this is my 3rd year with EXP. I started out with Century 21. Right. So to cap out in my 3rd year, I think I'm doing okay. Really good. Right. Okay. But I definitely want to be known as a top producer. I want every raised every household, every neighborhood to know Toyya Pruitt, you know. And I feel like just even sitting with you, you know, I'm like, hold on now. I'm on here with Justin. Yeah. I'm about to get some exposure.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, it goes back to the power of social media. Like, I never would have met you if it wasn't for social media. You know? Like, I tell people all the time that social media has given me 100% of my business.
Yeah.
The reason why is because I never really had to cold call anybody. I met people through social media, you know. If I felt as if that we have mesh personalities and things can match, then why not connect, right? Let's grab a coffee. Let me learn about your story. Let's do business together. If we don't, then I'm gonna see you on the listing side one day. You know, hopefully, you know, that we can make a deal happen regardless of whether or not we send business to each other.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, that's what the power of social media has done for me. It has done everything for me and my family, and I can nothing but appreciate.
I gotta give you kudos though. Let me tell you something, y'all. I deal with different lenders, but I have to say this guy here, he needs a cape on, because he can save literally any deal I've thrown to you. Like, every deal, you and your team are able to save it, and everyone walks away happy. And I don't know now. I don't know what kind of magic y'all cooking up in this building, but you really, you got it. Like, you are the one, and me and you gonna do a lot of business together.
I appreciate it. Vice versa. Everybody. I think there was one time we had champagne at the closing table.
Yeah. Hey, we party. Okay, like, you know, that's just my energy. Hey, we gonna eat and drink good every time, no matter what I'm doing. When I'm hosting events, hey, it's all free. Y'all come eat, come drink. We'll have a good time.
No, definitely. I was at the closing table. We had a couple of champagne. I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta work. But it was a great time. And I appreciate the way the customer service that you provide to our clients. There's a lot of referrals that come out of it. So, you know, I think our main goal is, if we don't get referrals, obviously I don't feel, for me, I think a minimum of 3 referrals per client. I want to try to get as many past client referrals, because that means I did a good job as a compliment to you, right? Like, if I did such a good job that you felt as if your family or friends have to want to utilize me, that means I did a good job, and that means the absolute world to me, you know, and vice versa. So I'm sure the clients that get the champagne bottles at the closing table, they're like, oh, I never thought I was gonna get a champagne bottle.
And then they friends and cousins be like, dang, I used somebody else. Our book closer was Boardman, and we had, I told her, you gotta contact the party girl. You know, I'm gonna get you your keys, and we're gonna have a good time while doing it. You know, so that's just the bonus.
There you go. So I want to wrap everything up. I want to kind of get a little bit deeper, right? Okay. I want to see. I know we talked a little bit about the 5-year plan. But is Illinois, like you living here, is this the final destination that you want to be at? And if you had to give yourself a piece of advice from the past, so if you're talking to yourself 21 years old versus where you're at right now, what piece of advice would you give yourself? Okay, so Illinois, I do want to get my license in other states, because when I get older, I don't know if Illinois' weather going to do well with me. That's what I'm getting at.
So I'm definitely thinking about, I would be south somewhere. It would be, you know. Weather. Hey, I'm going for the weather, you know. And then, what was the next part?
The last piece of advice. If you
the last piece, for my younger self. it would have been to buy the building first. Yeah? Yeah, because I bought a home, and then the mortgages was low then, you know, but... I would have bought the building first. Yeah. That would have been a younger me. Buy the building, get some tenants. And I had like my mom, I had family members I could have put in the building. So when you think about it, you like, why didn't you? Yeah, why didn't I? Like, I could have helped so many other people instead of them, you know. So that would have been my piece of advice. And you know what? I should have been attached myself to people in real estate. Yeah. So even as a teacher, as much knowledge as I had, as much as I felt I was helping the youth, I think real estate, what they say, 90% of the wealthy people come from real estate. Yeah. If I would have known those stats then, you know, I feel like I would be so much further right now. Right. So, I think everyone should at least attach themselves to one lender or one realtor. And if you ain't doing it, but follow them on social media, because we teach on there. You know, like we get on there, we do lives, reels, or whatever. So we're always teaching. Right. So, that would be my thing. No, tell 100%. The younger one.
But your journey just started, girl. It's all good. This is the beginning. This is just the beginning. I always say this is just the beginning. What did Kobe say? He said, "The job isn't finished. That's it. You gotta keep pushing. It'll get to where you need to be." But again, Toya, I want to say thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it. For
thank
all
you for having me.
People that are out here. You got to take notes. It's good to just dropped a bunch of different things that we have.
Dropping them gems, and I do it for free.
And she gets champagne bottles at the closing table. So
champagne closets.
No, and people, they come out, seriously, they come with a bucket of ice. They pour the bottle for you. You
That's
start
thanks
drinking.
to Lamont.
Yeah, I was surprised myself. But again, I appreciate it. Your customer service is impeccable. I appreciate everything that you have done for us. Everybody that's watching, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you guys ever need anything, she's here as your resource. I'm here as your resource. And if you haven't already, please make sure to like, subscribe, turn on your post notifications. And thank you for watching another episode.